Tannourine is a Lebanese municipality located in the Batroun District, part of the Mohafazah of North-Lebanon, 75 kilometers from the capital Beirut. Tannourine's name stems from the town's geography, which resemble the convex form of an oven called the tannoor. The "-ine" is probably in proportion to the presence of two areas that make up this town, the Lower Tannourine and the Upper Tannourine areas. Etymology: Tannourine is the plural of the Syriac word tannoor. A tannoor is an old stone oven used in ancient times. The very first settlers established a number of tannoors in Tannourine al-Fawqa, and later settled down the valley in Tannourine al-Tarta, where a more fertile landscape allowed local agriculture to thrive. Tannourine lies in a collection of valleys and ravines accessible either from Douma, a backroad from Bisharia from a newly constructed highway direct from Batroun. Climate: Tannourine Cedar Reserve. The village also shares its name with the cedar forest of some 60,000 trees, making it the largest cedar reserve in Lebanon. The landscape overlooking the historic valley of Ain al-Raha is ideal for the culture of cedars, which grow in abundance. These cedars can be seen along the road that goes north to Hadith al-Jebba, which, although in poor condition, winds its way through wild and isolated scenery up to the Kadisha Valley Gorge, leading to Bishari. Other companion trees like Cupressus, Pinus, Abies, Populus and others constitute a very rich ecosystem in plantar species. The fauna described as being present in this type of unique ecosystem range from the various types of birds to wild animals, villages and local attractions. The village of Bala is known for its deep natural sinkhole. A 300-meter walk brings you to a dizzying open cavern some 250 meters deep. 3 natural bridges, of which the middle one is the most spectacular, complete the scene. In the spring, snow meltwater forms the scenic 90 meters high Bartara Gorge waterfall. The Nahr al-Joza serpents through the valley and borders a number of Lebanese restaurants, and creates a jungle-like ecosystem higher up towards the source. Likewise, the river has formed a number of natural pools of stagnant clear water that can be explored higher up towards the source. Tannourine is well known for its ancient Maronite monasteries, specifically the convents of St. Shalatar and St. Antonio's Hub, the latter being located in the village of Watahub. Also, among the rocky outcrops of Tannourine al-Tarta is located an ancient 500-year-old Lebanese house, believed to be one of the earliest examples of Lebanese architecture. That same house was on the cover of a National Geographic report on Lebanon. Until late 2008, the occupant of the house was the oldest living man in Lebanon. Dubbed Masoud, he was reputed to be 109 years old. Churches and monasteries. In the late 5th century AD, Tannourine became a refuge for the Maronites fleeing from oppression and persecution. Some of the churches and monasteries include St. Shalatar Church, an archaeological site from the Crusader period. St. Sarkis Church, a Byzantine archaeological site. It had 3 markets and the vestibule was paved with mosaic. It was constructed near the new church. Archaeological sites. Tannourine hosts a remarkably large number of monuments dating back to the Phoenician, Romanian and Greek eras. In the valley of Tannourine al-Tarta lies a nearly intact Roman aqueduct and a decrepit reservoir and Roman cistern at its side. It is a testament that the fertility of that valley was being exploited since at least the 1st century AD. Higher up in the mountains, in the now abandoned village of Ain al-Raha, found a number of 6th century and Crusader-era churches that many scholars believe to be one of the earliest known proofs of the presence of Christianity in the Upper Levant. Indeed, according to the legend, Ain al-Raha was during the 11th to 13th century a safe haven for defeated crusaders. Also, above the previously mentioned old Lebanese house is an abandoned monastery sheltered in the hollow cave on the face of the mountain. It is believed that the 16th century remains were constructed in a way that it melded into the mountain to create a camouflage of sorts, and, indeed, unless you intend to search for it, you'd be hard-pressed to locate it immediately. Such caution was employed in order to thwart Ottoman army which wished to seize the Levant, which they eventually succeeded in doing. In Waterhoub there are inscriptions on a rock dating back to the 8th century BC, the statues of a huge man between two smaller ones. In St. Antony's Monastery in Houb, the remains of a Phoenician temple are preserved. In 1936 the remains of a structure with an elaborate stone sculpture were found and a large font was used to save the blood of the victims. This is all in the middle of a paved opening with stone seats around. It was also found among the rubble icons inscribed with the name of Alexander the Great and drawings of the god Jupiter, carrying the lightning symbol in his right hand and a scepter in his left. The other read Iskander, the king and the god and the compassionate father, in addition to the drawings of an eagle and the heads of a man and a woman with the words, "The two gods are brothers." There are also writings glorifying the Roman Emperor Hadrian and other writings cautioning from cutting certain types of trees, in addition to schools, restrooms, and forts built to protect convoys from nomadic invasions. In Tannourine, there is today a Roman wall which constructs the boundary between Tannourine and Akura. The Romans also built an observatory called Itamout Observatory, which was overlooking the neighboring areas to address those who come to cut the trees. The Greek monuments included icons of the goddess Isis, the goddess and protector of navigation. She has two horns and she is carrying in her hand an ankh with Greek letters of the gloss. History of the people of Tannourine. Numerous stories talk about the origin of the people of Tannourine, but the common facts are in what follows in the paragraph below. As shown by the geographical scope, Tannourine was inhabited since the Phoenician and Roman times. However, there is no conclusive evidence that it was a continuous presence or a discontinued one, nor is there any evidence to prove whether this presence left an impact biologically and genetically on other people who came later to Tannourine. Based on the manuscript of Father Peter Matar, several families lived in Tannourine in the 13th century, before the Mamluks' attack on Mount Lebanon. The most prominent of these families are Matar, Gush, Shimon, Harik and Sadka. Between 1,268 meters and 1,306 meters stormed the Mamluks attacked Mount Lebanon in a disciplined campaign in the region. Many of these families dispersed, some of which were killed, and others emigrated and some hid in the many caves in the area of Tannourine. The families that do not disappear from that stage of the Gush, Matar and Redi, as many of the descendants are still in Tannourine region. Most of the families currently stationed in Tannourine are from George Abi Korkmaz III, the actual grandfather for more than 60% of Tannourine people. Al-Korkmaz's main families are Harb, Yunus, Torbi, Datta, Yaqub. It is worth mentioning that these families have branched into several families and names which are too many to state all. For the true origins of the Korkmaz I, there are many stories. Some historians consider him from Slavic ethnic origins. Albanians are Turkish. They call Gozar, and others think of him having Arab Baghdadi assets and they call him Qatar. Qatar is an Arabic name which means the spear holder. Qatar name is common in the town, making it easier to accept the second theory. The Korkmaz in Turkish means, who is not afraid. Tannourine includes many other families who came from several Lebanese villages and towns, such as Murad of Kafr Silwan, Al-Sheikh, Komir, Bo Abdo, Hashem, Karam, Hazrouni, Rasht, Maklaf, Fadol, Basyani, Akiki, Ans Abikalal. Government and demographics. The newly constructed Tannourine municipality building is located in Tannourine Al-Fawqa, overlooking the town previously mentioned. A president of the municipal council is elected every 6 years along with a list of 18 cabinet members who are all subjected to a vote by the residents. It has relative administrative and financial independence but remains under the control, supervision and financing of the central government. Altitude 1,500 meters. Distance from Beirut 75 kilometers. Area approximately 100 square kilometers, including the Cedars Reserve. Notable people: Boutros Harb, Member of the Parliament, Minister of Telecommunication and former Minister of Labour, Education, and Public Works. Claude Comer, co-founder of Nintendo Software Technology.